Dee Snider, Twisted Sister, yeah, you know me, and I'm telling you to order Nobody Move at NobodyMoveBook.com.
George, you're the host with the most, and Nobody Move. Are you a dancer?
I am not a dancer, but get a couple of drinks in me, I might do that.
All right. So, the story behind Nobody Move is pretty intense. Did you get a chance to learn about the book, or are you friends with Robert? How did you get involved?
I am. So I met Robert because he spoke on one of my stages for my company Speak, which is a global public speaking platform. We met there. I worked with Rob on his talk. And that talk that he did was actually the beginning of the series of events that led to the book. So I was honored to be featured in the book as well. And the book's incredible, really incredible book.
Now, having a speaking platform, right? All of us sometimes have to go through challenges before we have enough information in our journey to speak about something, right? We have to be a change maker, right? And so without any adversity, right, where can we actually have a platform to speak upon to help people, right?
Yeah.
So are you grateful for those challenges in your journey so far?
Oh my God, so grateful. I always tell young speakers when they're first getting up, or young professionals even, they're kind of waiting for that moment to happen. And they're like, when is it going to be my time? And I'm always like, you got to wait. You got to be patient. You got to live life first before you kind of get there. So, for me, kind of that lived experience is what turned me into what I am today. Rob, with this book, when you read it, it's the same situation. And I'm grateful for lived experiences. It makes us wiser and it makes us better storytellers. And we're able to then give that advice to the next generation.
I was really honored and excited to be invited. Like, I was like, wait, I made the list. I'm like, that's cool, because this looks like it's like one of those events that's like one of a kind. It's super special. So stay tuned for more. We're living it up right here. We're with the host, George, and we'll be right here for all the action. Stay tuned. Ladies, we are here tonight. It's so exciting, and we've got Power Magazine in the house, right? Talk to us about why you're here to celebrate Nobody Move.
So Rob Esposito is a man who empowers women, and Jerry could tell you that more than anybody. But Power Magazine, every winter issue, we feature 10 men who inspire and empower women. And we chose Rob out of one of our 10 gentlemen. And not only did we choose him as one of our 10 gentlemen who inspire women, but we also gave him the Power Man of the Year award. Yay! So he's a special man who just empowers women, and look what he's doing. All these women here tonight to support him for the launch of his book and everything that he does.
Okay, so you have the power of the pen.
I do have the power of the pen, and sometimes it's pretty difficult because there's always a lot of mistakes that go on behind the scenes that you don't know about, and you have to check and recheck and make sure everything's perfect.
Lovely. How long have you been there, and what are you most excited about for tonight?
I've been there about 3 years, and tonight I'm just really excited to celebrate Rob because we don't often have men in our magazine, and he was a perfect choice. He inspires women. He was actually mentored by women, and I think he's a perfect example of why we have men in our magazine who empower women.
1, 2, 3, Nobody Move! Connection to tonight's event?
So I helped, I actually helped Rob get the book published. Okay. We went to lunch one day, we were talking, he wanted to do a book, and with my connection I managed Dee Snider, and I've worked with multiple celebrities. I've had multiple books published, so it just seemed like it made sense because I'm also a realtor. So knowing what's missing in the industry, talking to Rob, who's so high up there in the industry, who has dealt with so many realtors, it just seemed like the next step for us.
Now, what made you go into real estate? Both things are people. Entertainment is people oriented,
Yes.
and so is real estate. What made you decide to do that hybrid?
I have a need to sell. I love selling. I was a stockbroker for 11 years, and then I sold motorcycles. I was the vice president of Von Dutch Custom Cycles. I was out in Hollywood selling TV shows and working with reality TV shows. And when I came home, I was just kind of, what's my next step? And real estate started getting hot, and I got licensed, and I do very well at it. Moving is one of the top 3 most stressful things you could do in your life. It's right up there with losing a loved one. So if we could show how it's not just moving, it's kind of moving you through life and helping making sure that it's a smooth transition. That's what we tried to accomplish. So this is really, tonight is really a gala for the book release, which is coming out January 15th. But we're also going to air a commercial that Rob did with Dee Snider for relocators.
With us now is Denise. Denise, you've known Robert for a really long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was the first one to meet him.
Do you still like him?
I do like him. Actually, I do. Yes. It's funny you say that because I usually say that to people. I like him.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. That's character.
I like my kids now too. In fact, I just texted my daughter Elise. I said, you know what? I really like you. You know, and it's interesting when your children get to be a certain age and you can almost, you're still their parent. You should always
Right.
be their parent.
Right.
But you can also be their friend.
Right. Exactly. Now that I've retired, we're becoming better friends.
Lovely.
Yes.
Tell us about the journey. I think it was like he was around 12 or something, like, and he
I
started working on
remember-
the sales.
Yes, but I remember when I first started my business, I was on the rug in my bedroom making signs for estate sales, and Robert was laying on my bed and he said, "You're nuts. This is never going to work. This is never going to work." And I was one of those women that, no, I'm going to make this work.
Right.
Because I always gave 150% to other people working, and I wanted to do it for myself and others. So I started the company. My boys Robert needed to go to work, and he started working with me, and he saw that I was giving jobs out to other people, and he was smart enough to say, let me get my first box truck.
Yeah.
And his dad was very much together with me with it. He got him his first box truck. He helped him get it.
Lovely.
And he just kept making it bigger and bigger and bigger and greater and greater.
So congratulations, because I
Thank
feel
you.
like it takes the entire world, right, for us to be able to like lift one another up, and that's what his book does.
Yes.
His book has so much
Yes.
knowledge and heart in it.
Yes, treasure your relationships, not your possessions.
Now, Robert, I love the title. So tell us about that, because it's hard to title a book, right?
So hard. Actually, to be honest with you, I wound up hiring a couple ghostwriters and then rewriting the entire book in like a 6-week period at the last minute. And the hardest thing to do was the cover, the title, and the illustrations and stuff. Yeah.
Now, the
absolutely.
illustrations are really cool because they're kind of cartoonish. Like, tell us about that. How did you decide on that artistic element?
Just to add like a flavor of comedy and like kind of like slapstick, make fun of ourselves. I have a great graphic artist that works for me, and like I'll come up with an idea and he just gives it that little extra. It's awesome.
A lot of fun. This is an over-the-top event, okay? Anybody can have a book signing, but this is like a book extravaganza, right? We're under this beautiful tent with lights. What are you most looking forward to tonight?
The party, the moment like the show is done and people's reaction till they see why they're really here, because the show, we've been working on a show for like 3 months and that's all we've done, and I'm really proud of it.
Now, you have Vincent here tonight. You got a lot of sponsors. How did you start out in this industry?
My mother was doing estate sales and I was a kid working at Vincent's, and I would help her on the weekends like doing clean outs, and I saw that it was like super fragmented, and I wanted to like make it a one-stop transition, you know?
Right, so that somebody could like take care of all the junk,
Yeah.
get rid of the chaos, and kind of calm everything down.
Yes, and back then, so I thought it was always the fragmentation of the industry, but now I realize from doing it, it's the emotional, like, you know, and that's what the book's about. It's a book on moving, but it's a book on moving through life, period.
And you kind of equate it to like a divorce or some other big challenges in life,
Yeah,
right? And trying to get from one side to the other side.
Yes. So I always say, because if you Google it, it goes death, divorce, moving, serious illness. Like, how does moving come before cancer? It don't make, but you don't think of it the right way.
Right.
It's the entire part about being settled or not being settled in your home.
Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to? Somebody that maybe helped you along the way, kind of curate this whole project together?
Sure. I mean, well, it all started with hiring Bill Corbett and Ron Sarantino. I was about to self-publish, and we wound up going out to lunch. We were close friends. He surprised me, and then from there, Mike Amoa.
I am a top real estate broker at Douglas Elliman, and I just had one of the biggest years of my career. Now I'm starting my own team.
I've died and gone to real estate heaven.
Okay, ladies, look at this. Wow. This is the caliber of listing that I want you working in.
I wouldn't mind a second bedroom.
Of course, I have a second bedroom for my cat.
They're very lucky to have Eleonora, but I don't know if they'll all make the cut.
Really?
The fangs are out.
Sometimes all it takes is a little competition.
The gentleman that you had us all go after, I think I nabbed him.
And you know what they say? Diamonds are made under pressure, baby.
I could bid $10 million on it.
This isn't going for 10 mil. I can show you that building right across the street.
Do you think she's a one-hit wonder?
She just can't get out of her own way.
Hear me when I say it's not me against you. It's me and you against everybody else.
I am doing this to build you up, not for you guys to tear me down.
You know, I'm a real Manhattan girl. Like, I don't know how to drive kind of thing, but barely.
And you don't cook, you make reservations?
I can cook. I'll qualify, I can cook, but yes, that's true. Yeah, look, we were big on Montauk when I was a child before it became what it became when it was sort of still grungy and had like really a little bit of a spa culture. I was like on Montauk, we did Fire Island, but really like otherwise to be on the island was like maybe for like family, friends, holidays, things like that. Yeah.
So Robert wrote this book called Nobody Moves.
Yeah.
And I've been asking a lot of people if you dance. Do you dance? A little bit? No?
Like what kind of what do we call dance?
I don't know, like if you're going to
I know how to pole dance.
You do?
I do. That's not my day job, but I can. No, yeah,
That's a good skill. I heard that it's good for your abs.
It's great for everything. It's so hard. Yeah, yeah. I dance. I mean, you know, I might take a couple shots before I start dancing, but I do. Yes.
So this book celebration, when who invited you to come? Was it Mike, or how did you hear about it?
Mike really was the primary connection. Yeah, but like now we're all sort of family. It just sort of made sense for us to be here. We're in real estate. We facilitate obviously a lot of moves and changes for clients. It just felt like it was the right time. Our show just came out, so I'm here with the entire cast.
So did you always, was it always acting and combination of real estate? Like what came first? Right, it's reality, right?
Scripted show, and it's as real as reality television can get. Yeah,
what do you enjoy best about it? I mean, and were you ready for the fame? Like, were you ready for it? Because all of a sudden it's like
everything. A lot has changed in the last week. I was ready. I still grew up in the city. I have I would say I was fame adjacent. I have friends. And so nothing's really changed for me. The best part was being able to do a show that's just like a tribute to New York. It makes the city look beautiful. It's really an homage to my industry, to real estate, to being a salesperson, understanding the personal struggles that we deal with as women in the business. I think it's a really well-packaged show. It's been received really positively. There's been an outpouring of support. So it's been great. The best part while we were filming was just getting to like hang out with my girlfriends and play dress up and
you know, it was fun. Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like
You know what? When I moved from St. Louis to New York, I did not realize that Manhattan has all these beautiful little neighborhoods, so much culture, so much richness. It's like, it really is the melting pot. What do you love? What are some of the things that you love best about it?
you're right, you always discover something else. I always say that the best part about New York is that it reminds you how resilient you are.
Wow.
If you know, have one of those tough days where like you missed your train and you can't call an Uber and your phone's dead and it's raining and you've been like beat up, and everyone's had that moment of being in Manhattan and being like, I need to go home. Like, this day is off. Nothing is working out for me. But then you get up and you do it again the next day.
Yes.
And I think that is like the power of the city, is that like it'll chew you up and spit you out in the best way, because like you come out stronger every single time.
I was broke. I was trying to figure it out. I was a young kid, passionate about creating things, like creating art in any form. Music just fell into it, and it just became a super, super passion of mine. And it just became very challenging when I had to like make money at it. You know, I was recording local bands out here on Long Island, actually, and I was doing producing, engineering, and writing, and just trying to find my way.
Who is kind to you to give you a start that said, hey, you know what, I believe in you, you've got something special?
I mean, it's kind of like a lot of people along the way, but it kind of revealed itself because of like my perseverance. I'm not trying to take all the credit, but like I was in a situation where I just had to get out of, and I was just like, nothing was going to stop me from getting out of it. So I just was working harder than anybody I've ever known.
The tenacity, if you will, right? And I know that this book has a lot of heart and has a lot of tenacity in it. What is your connection to Robert? Are you new friends, or have you known him a little while?
Okay, kind of an interesting story. I'll try to summarize it, but Ron Starantino is my cousin. We're in our 50s. We just met 3 years ago. So Ron and I met through my father. My father rides motorcycles. He was at a bike meetup with Ron, and he was like, hey, you know, my dad called me and said, I met Ron, who's your cousin. I know you don't even know who he is, but you guys should meet. You have a lot in common. Ron actually worked on Sons of Anarchy in production. I did production. And he's like, you guys should talk. We talked, and we were like best of friends right out the jump. So when Ron hit me up and said, I got this guy Rob, and maybe you can talk to him about this commercial, and they kind of like were prying around, and then eventually it was like, you know, can you do this for us? And
right.
I was like, of course, you know, and you know, I did it for Rob for free. I didn't charge anybody anything, because for me it was, one, my cousin, but two, the passion behind Rob and the drive that this guy had. I love it. I love people that like just don't stop and want to succeed. I love to get behind people when they want to succeed, and it's like a give back, you know. It eventually will come around some way or another, and if it doesn't, he's a great person. I'm happy that I can help him in any way I can.
Well, you know, I met Rob a while back. We got connected by our mutual friend Bill Corbett, and I just immediately knew he was such a charismatic, good-hearted guy. I was really interested that he wrote this book on moving. And when I read it, I was really surprised at the stories that he told, because when you think about it, those of us that are in real estate are meeting people at the best of times and at the worst of times. And just his perspective on, you know, the different types of personalities and how to handle it when you have an older adult moving, or different times of their life, it was so insightful. And I think that everybody that touches real estate in some way should absolutely read it. They should know Rob, but they should absolutely read it. And even if you're not in real estate, if you are going to move ever, it's really, there's the piece of it that has really incredible advice on moving and what to expect, and it's really focused on the psychological aspect of the people moving.
It's more than just the key.
It's so much more than just the key. It's all of the pre-planning of the things that could happen day of, and he really gives you such a good deep dive into what he's seen over the years. And then almost like the whole second half of the book is his insight, which I loved the first part because it was all that I had. And when I got to the second part of the book, I was like, I love this even better because it was so insightful.
1976. Rob just turned 40. I want to be him when I grow up, because mentally, believe me, I'm about 16. That's a man who started with absolutely nothing. I remember he once told me that his mother was in real estate, and he would go into an apartment that was disgusting and filthy, and his mother said, clean it out. And he'd clean it out. And then he got this old van, and then he got this used truck. And now look what he's got. He's got a major business. I believe he has 4 warehouses. I know he just expanded to Florida. This is the all-American story. There is not another guy anywhere that has worked as hard and has been as successful as Rob Esposito.
Dreams come true. It's persistence, right? And perseverance, and just like really just going for it.
Hard work pays off.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Hard work and honesty, and treat people the way you want to be treated yourself. That's what it comes down to.
And he's surrounded by people that genuinely care about him tonight. The room is filled with people from all walks of life, and they're all just here, and it's like nobody moves. So I've been asking a few people tonight if they dance. Do you dance, Kenny? I'm looking for a dancer.
Do I dance? Well, you'll have to ask my wife if I'm allowed to dance with you. But do I dance? I dance, but again, my moves are like from the 60s.
All right, you know what? I'm going to step back so that we're not dancing together.
Oh, okay.
Show me some of your moves. And on that note, nobody move. Nobody move. Nobody move.
Nobody move with me either.
It seems like you're kind of like at different ages and different like combinations. So tell us about the background of the band.
Yeah, so we're all Long Island, Nassau County, and I actually was coming off of American Idol when I met these guys, and we were working on kind of different projects and decided it would be a good matchup. Live show, it's a live show, people. But yeah, we all grew up in kind of separate instances. Our 2 guitar players went to high school together and met at like a high school talent show. So the band has been together forever, dating back. And so once I joined, we formed the 2 groups together. Adam and the Metal Hawks made Adam and the Metal Hawks. And it's been great ever since. We've been touring the world, doing some awesome festivals in Europe during the summer, and we just got off tour with Bowling for Soup, which was really, really fun. Great guys. So we're just trying to push our original music. We're putting out a new album this year and putting out a bunch of singles along the way, so keep an eye out.
So Speak and Robert, he was one of the very first speakers with Speak when we got started. It was Speak Freedom, and he did his talk with us, and it was unbelievable. Like, that's where I met him initially, so what an amazing talk. Yep.
Speak events are uniquely themed, so every event has a theme. So like our very first event was titled Speak Beginnings. Then we've done Speak Love, Speak Freedom. Speak Freedom was actually where we met Rob. He was one of our speakers, and he did a phenomenal job. And another arm of our business is not only do we have these live shows, but we have a podcast as well. And so during one of our podcast recordings, because the talks are put on the podcast, and while listening to Rob's talk and just talking, and it came to me, I was just like, Rob is like an everyday philosopher. Just how he thinks, and just he finds the wisdoms in just the simplicity of life. And so, we've built a friendship, a relationship, if you will. And and we're excited to be here to support him on his book launch and entire program.
Dancing for LL Cool J, Janet Jackson, Mariah Carey, and then I became a Knicks City dancer for 10 seasons at Madison Square Garden.
How did you realize that you also had the same skill to make people dance?
Well, I used to go to parties and sign autographs for people as a Nick City dancer. And I was that dancer that went up to the DJ constantly and said, hey, why don't you play this? Or can I make a suggestion? I'm sure DJs couldn't stand me, but
not her again, right?
Not her again. But I just, being out on the dance floor, I felt like I knew what should come next.
Okay,
I felt it. Because I was in that energy and I was in the middle of it. And it was my job to get everybody dancing on the dance floor. So I sort of was like, okay, so we can go from this to this. And I worked with great DJs. I come from a legacy of incredible mentors who trained me and taught me what to do, what not to do. So I'm very blessed that I was already in the
You can read the audience, right? Like, so do you have like a plan A, B, C, and D? Like a playlist in your, like, oh my gosh, this crowd is like maybe moving more to this. And so you mix it up a little bit on the spot?
Absolutely. So little fun fact is my husband laughs because for every song that you hear out there, I've already gone through maybe 5 to 10 in my ear. So I'm constantly dropping. So you can drop them on either side of your decks. So I'm constantly dropping just to see what works, what sounds. I mix in key, so I mix musically. So I never want to crash anything. It's got to be seamless. And yes, I call it fishing as well. So I'll throw a song out, and if I feel like it doesn't work as much as I want it to work, I'll pull back right away. And I'll mix right out of something.
And you call it fishing? Like fishing?
So it's like catch and release. So if it doesn't work, I can always get out of it. And no, I never know what I'm going to play. It's about reading the crowd. It's about watching the people in the back of the room. It's about watching grandma, grandpa, the whole, I want everybody out there.
Not many people know, but one of my early jobs was working for a GYN. Joining us now is Dr. Gupta, and we're going to be talking about walk-in GYN. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So early in my life, I actually worked for an OB/GYN, and I loved it. I got to take like their temperature, and I got to work with the patients in doing blood pressure when it used to be like the old blood pressure cuff that you used to pump instead of like digital.
Well, we still do that.
You still do it that way? Oh, okay. But I'm sure that the technology is a little bit better.
Yeah,
than,
it's more accurate.
I was going to say. But you have come up with a concept, I guess, about 10 years ago now, that helps people, especially be able to see patients like right away without waiting for an appointment. What is walk-in GYN?
Well, it's the country's first ever walk-in center for women's health. I've been in different countries, and when I came here and graduated from my residency back in 2008, I realized how bad things were for women's health here. The nearest appointment is 3 months out, 6 weeks out. You call your GYN, when do you get your next appointment, right? Yeah. So that's why I wanted to open the same day centers for women's health. So people can walk in and get full service care. It's not just like reproductive care only, like Planned Parenthood does offer that, but we offer full service care with ultrasound on site, blood draws on site, and anywhere from adolescence to menopause, the whole spectrum, 7 days a week, all day.
What has the response been from the patients, knowing that you're there for them?
Amazing, amazing. There are like over 500 5-star Google reviews. That'll tell you for itself, but a few months ago, I sent out a letter, plea for kindness to some of the patients because, after COVID, things changed a little bit. And there was an outpouring of just an amazing, heartwarming response. They're so thankful. We've diagnosed thousands of cancers and, life-threatening conditions because we are open and people can just walk in.
Yeah, early detection's the key,
Yep.
right? And if you're not waiting all those weeks or
Yep.
sometimes a month or more
Yep.
for an appointment, you're able to help
Yep.
them right away.
Yep.
So are you doing traditional pap smears? What are some of the services that you offer?
We do everything: pap smears, hormonal management, perimenopause, menopause, birth control, taking care of abnormal uterine bleeding, which is the big one.
Oh, yes.
Because, when you're bleeding, that's when you need care. If you go to the ER, you're sitting there for hours and you have high deductibles and there's so much going on. So we take care of everything.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
How many centers do you currently have?
We have 6 centers, 1 in LA, Beverly Hills, and 5 in New York.
And
Queens.
you're starting to expand.
Well, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. The goal is to open one walk-in GYN care like Starbucks in every town. But
Dr. Gupta, I love that idea.
Yeah.
I think it's possible, right? It just takes a little bit of time, but now that
It's-
you've got the proven concept, it's
yeah.
easier, I think, for you to replicate that in other areas.
Yeah. Well, it's fully bootstrapped by me, so there's no outside investors or anything like that. So I just, take it one at a time.
That was the show too. I was sharing with you earlier that 17 years ago I sold my house, I sold everything I owned,
Yeah.
and I knew that the show was going to bring value to people because there wasn't really a show like it, and I did it my
That's
own
the
way,
entrepreneur.
right?
Awesome.
And so that was funny too because I see you and I very similar. Like
Yeah.
you are like hands-on kind of
Yeah.
person. There was something called PCOS that I wasn't aware of. What is that? What is that an acronym for, PCOS?
It's called polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Okay.
What it does is there's imbalance between your estrogen, progesterone levels. You know how you see young girls getting their periods very young nowadays, right?
Yeah, like sometimes 9.
Yeah. Even there's a rise in endometrial cancer. So those are the two extreme spectrums. But PCOS in the middle can cause infertility simply due to weight gain, hormone imbalance, causing problems in ovulation, excessive hair growth, loss of head hair. But the reason it's gone up so high in the last few years is because of all the chemicals and the endocrine disruptors that we call them, like the plastics in our water, in our food. All that affects your hormone receptors and causes the estrogen progesterone imbalance.
My friend the other day had hers measured, and she says, "I have no testosterone." I'm like,
Yeah.
"What does that mean?
Yeah.
And why is that? Why is something like that dangerous, and how can that be corrected?"
So there are two extremes again.
Okay.
Low testosterone causes low libido, low sex drive. It can ruin relationships. And honestly, all of us start losing our testosterone after 30 years of age. But then there's high testosterone because the receptors are blocked and there's imbalance in the way it's being formed. And that causes the excessive hair growth and PCOS type syndrome.
So, what do you suggest? Like a yearly annual checkup for all women, or you do?
Everybody.
Okay.
Everybody should go every year, no matter you're in menopause, no matter if you've had your uterus removed. It doesn't matter. The guidelines, confuse people because they say, oh, you don't need a PAP for 3 years or 5 years, and things keep changing. But that doesn't mean that you don't need to go to your GYN, because you do need a full body exam, like your breast exam, a pelvic exam, and any blood test that you might need, symptom analysis. So absolutely, you should go every year.
Okay, just to live a healthier lifestyle too.
Yeah.
Even if nothing catastrophically is wrong,
Yeah.
right? We can all live a little better.
Yeah, no, GYN is like your therapist too, right? People come to me inside the room and they tell me their life stories. So you really do need to have a relationship with your GYN.
Lovely. And so how would somebody call? Do they call ahead and say, I would like to come today? Or do they just is it like a restaurant, like first come, first serve? How does it work?
We have both. We
Okay.
do appointments as well. 50% of our patients are by appointment because we have so many follow-ups. We're celebrating our 10 years now.
Yay.
Yes. And then they can walk in as well. So they can book online or they can walk in, whatever works for them.
What do you find is the most hidden cause like now in GYN? Is it like vaginal infections, chronic vaginal infections, or like what is it that people just don't know that they could have a better life if they only came in?
Vaginal health is my big one.
Okay.
In fact, I'm working on a book about that. People just go to hot yoga or, go for workouts and then go shopping after that, and then things just go haywire down there and they keep getting infections and the pH goes off, their internal chemistry goes off, and they keep getting infections and they keep getting frustrated. So vaginal health is really, really important.
Okay, so are you saying like if you're doing like some sort of exercise, always like hit the showers first?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
To get off
And-
like the excess sweat off your skin or
Yep,
whatever
and
the
stay away
bacteria
from all
are.
those V facials,
Okay.
the chemicals and the sprays down there, because as I always tell people, would you do that on a baby's face? Then why would you do that to your vagina?
Right. Treat it nicely.
Treat it nicely.
And it'll treat
Have
you
res-
nicely back.
Exactly. Yep.
Understood. I appreciate you being here. It's a sensitive subject for a lot of people, but like for all females, it's something that we need to address.
Absolutely.
So, at every age,
That's what we do. Stellar service, compassionate, and holistic care. That's our mission.
And so many new movies are out too about like menopause and things like that. So it's not as taboo to talk about anymore.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your time and
thank
congratulations to you. Continued success.
Thank you.
It's also nice that, as you had said, that you've traveled and learned things from all over the world and that you brought it here. Because a lot of times, we think that we know it all, but we don't. So it's nice when you like put something into action.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Appreciate that very, very much. And I'm one definitely that, needs to go get a checkup. So there you go.
Well, you
I
can go.
appreciate you very much. Yeah, I'm turning 60 this year. Yeah, 60 in June.
Yeah.
And as we age, different things
Well,
happen.
60 is
So-
the new 40.
you
We're
know
gonna
what?
live
I do
to
say
110.
I am.
so-
I say that I
yeah.
skew 42.
Yeah.
I feel 42.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to, I should get looked at from head to toe and fingertip to
Absolutely.
fingertip just to see like what's happening on the inside of my body, not just the outside of my body.
Exactly. Yeah.
So thank you, Dr. Gupta.
Thank you.
There you go. Come with me. I'm going to make an appointment. I have to. Sometimes I forget to eat. Sometimes I just don't take as good a care of myself as I should. So if you're like me and you're so busy, today, put yourself first. Go get checked out. Be well. Our next product will put a smile on your face. Joining us now is Jamal, and we are going to be talking about a very special skin cream. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. What made you decide to invent this?
Well, basically, it all started for me watching my mom use like a homemade skincare routine that consisted of honey, Greek yogurt, and starch. And then a lot of people in a short period of time just started complimenting her skin improvements. So I thought to myself, like, hey, how could we utilize those ingredients and then add more effective ingredients into it, especially because my mom has a sensitive skin. So how could we make it safe as well as effective at the same time? So I started researching and collecting data on some ingredients, and then it came to me that I have a list of ingredients ready to try, and here we are over a year ago with our first product launch.
Now, what is the name of your first product? What did you call it?
It's an all-purpose face moisturizer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically has benefits, multiple benefits that, like anti-aging benefits for a reduction of wrinkles, face lines, and then we also have brightness, glow to the skin. And I know a lot of people would like to have something that helps with pigmentation, so it also helps out with the reduction of the appearance of the pigmentation. So yeah, it has multiple combinations.
And is it clear or is it tinted? Like what type of, can I try
Yeah,
some?
of course.
Let me take a look. Okay, Jamal, let me see. I love the packaging.
Thank you.
And it has a vanilla scent to it?
Yes, so it's actually, we decided, we know based on like what we researched is that
Right.
a lot of people in the US are a fan of vanilla scent, so we decided, especially in skincare, so we decided to go through with vanilla.
Lovely. I know, I think maybe because it reminds us of the holidays when we use a lot of vanilla in the holiday baking and things that we do. I think that's maybe goes back to that. I don't know. The psychology of scent, we have to figure that out.
Yeah. And
Oh, that is nice.
Yeah, and a lot of people I've noticed we've went to like malls and shopping areas and asked people to give us feedback on the scent, and most of the people also recommended to go with vanilla. So
Well, the consistency is really nice too. You know, I do feature a lot of different skincare products on the show from time to time, and there are certain things that I look for, right?
Yeah.
Is it have a clean, fresh scent or no scent at all? Either one is optional. And then the consistency of it, and then the spreadability factor,
Yes.
right? Because a little bit goes a long way.
Yep.
Right? And it seems like it actually dissolves right into your skin really easily.
Yeah.
So those things are really important in the skincare line, I would think.
Of course, yeah,
Right.
and a lot of things that's helping is that a lot of people complimented that it spreads easily, and that you do not need to add a lot of product into your hand. You just need like a pea size quantity in your hand, and it all works out.
It does.
that
It
way,
works out
yeah.
really nice. I really do like that. And you can already feel like the moisture.
Yeah.
It feels like a little bit of protection on your skin. That's a lot of times what people just need. They just, even if they don't wear any makeup, just a nice face cream, you know, that's not heavy, that's not cakey, not greasy, will give them the fresh, dewy look that they're looking for.
Yeah.
And what does your mom think about the company?
She's actually very happy about it because she's been trying to find a good moisturizer that is helpful for her sensitive skin as well as like very effective. And she used to do like top skincare brands she used to use daily. And then once we got our first sample from this moisturizer, she mentioned to me she's very happy and she doesn't plan to go back to the other skin.
Well, that's good.
Yes.
You're like, Mom, I want you to support me. I'm your son, right? But it's nice that she supports you because your product is
Yes.
that good. You also give back to skin cancer. What made you decide to give back to that foundation?
Yes, so basically in our family we lost people from cancer as well as having a lot of people right now with cancer in our family. So for us it means a lot to try to fight against it. So as a company we like committed to donate $1 on each purchase for the moisturizer. So it helps with the mission, with our mission as a company, and it helps to fight against it. And we are hopeful in the near future to also collab more with the Skin Cancer Foundation and to do more work to fight against it.
Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it and celebrating you and your new business. I wish you all the best of luck, Jamal.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. There you go. We love, interviewing new business owners as well as those tried and true companies that are out there, and we thank you for watching. And the awards season begins now. Joining us now is Evan Hirsch. Hello, Evan. How are you?
Good, and you're glowing in time for award season.
I am glowing for award season. Going to the Grammys this year with Elise. Super excited, my daughter. We are heading out to Los Angeles. It's going to be a wonderful event. And I'm excited because you're helping me look my best. So what's in store for me for my Grammy wear?
Well, since you unfortunately decided not to take a handbag big enough for me to fit in there, which
Yes.
would have been my first choice, I really wanted to make a really cool cape to go on top of your dress that you had already picked out to wear. So my newest collection is going to be very colorful, very like ombre. So I really wanted to incorporate something like that for your Grammys attire. And you've been a very good sport about letting me have free reign. So
Well, of course, if I'm lucky enough to work with a fashion designer like yourself, I'm definitely putting my fashion forward with you. You have been doing a lot of awards. What's been going on? Golden Globes, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
just did the Golden Globes, which was really, really exciting. I was able to dress Guya, who is a producer for Ripley, that show that was very much nominated for this award season on Netflix. So I had reached out and said, can I have the honor of dressing you? And she was totally into it. So that was really, really cool to do.
And there was footage of that and pictures of that.
Yes.
And were you sitting at home watching, thinking like,
I think I like pretty much broke the internet with the amount of refreshing that I did every so often. And I would call my mom in a panic and be like, I don't see it yet. It didn't make it. Like, I don't
she's
know.
not wearing it. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, finally by like midnight it came through, and that was really cool to see. So.
Exciting. Is it also part of your new collection?
Yes,
Okay.
it's also like a combination of like two dresses that I've done. If you remember from my spring summer 25 collection, I had this like red dress with like lots of flowers on it. She said she's more of a minimalist, so I had to
Okay.
take some of those flowers off, so it was like a basic kind of like wine color. But for my next collection, I'm going to build on top of it, just like I'm doing for your dress. So it's always like taking old samples and refreshing them, which I've been doing for the show since the beginning. So
I like your sustainableness. You know, I really
Always.
do. I think that you are a leader in that, you know, in the way that you're also able to, your transformational gowns or just adding different things. You had a line that at the Met, like this is not your first time at the rodeo, Evan. You've had a lot of stellar things like Dances with the Stars. Like let's just do some highlights. Highlights of 2024 as we
I'm
get
not
ready for
worthy.
2025. Yes, you are. What's been going on?
Well, definitely the Met Gala was like the biggest thing that I could have ever imagined. I remember I used to like sit at home, and it used to obviously be the greatest day for fashion, but it also used to be a kind of depressing day because I was like, when is my designs
Moment.
going to end up on this carpet? So that was, I kind of just spoke it into existence, and I contacted a lot of people who I saw had great style and who had been there in years past. So it kind of just like materialized, and that was probably the most exciting moment. And then being nominated for the Fashion Group International Rising Star, which was really great. But I think I tell you this every time, it's like seeing a journal of my life, going back to these segments that we do and seeing every point and how far I've grown and how you've helped me materialize all of these things and kept almost like a living diary of it has been insane.
Well, when they ask me who am I wearing, of course I'm going to say The Cape by Evan Hirsch. No, I am really excited and ecstatic to be working with you in this way, and it's going to be a lot of fun. When is the next fashion week that you're in?
It's going to be in February. February 6th is the beginning of New York Fashion Week. So I haven't missed a New York Fashion Week yet, New York Fashion Week and Bridal Fashion Week. So this is going to be the New York Fashion Week portion. So I have a new collection coming, which I'm very excited about. It's going to be all based on like different colors and ombres, which you'll get a little preview through your Grammys outfit, through your Grammys attire. The only thing that I do ask is that you do return it so it comes
So you
to
can
the
put it in
runway.
your collection.
So it could be in the collection. But
Exactly.
everybody, you'll be the first marketing that goes out for the collection. So everybody can look to Donna Drake for what will be seen on the New York Fashion Week runway. You set the trends that will
please.
be on the runway.
All I do is celebrate you, and somehow that makes me kind of cool. Thank you, Evan, as always. There you go, Evan Hirsch. If you want to look fashionable, just go to his website, see what they're doing. It's an amazing journey. Be well. Up next, it is Chevalier. We're going to be talking about pink mahogany. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. We had a chance to talk right before the holidays. We had such a lovely conversation. Welcome to the show. How are you doing? What's going on in your world right now?
I'm doing well. I just completed a soft rebrand. I did a little bit of an upgrade on my current packaging, what used to be my current packaging. So I've been quite busy with receiving packages and processing orders and making sure that everything is going out on time.
Why did you start Pink Mahogany? What is this line?
Pink Mahogany is a niche perfumery that is centered around the artistic expression. More so the art form of perfumery. We know that we like to, people who do use perfumes and scented products, they like to smell good and they like to feel good. Just a short story, when I was teaching, I came across a lot of my colleagues at the time who loved products that were scented, but for some reason or another, they were not able to wear them. So that kind of triggered me to want to research ingredients and materials that were in common fragrances, lotions, perfumes, soaps, anything that had a scent or a fragrance. And that led me to want to start formulating on a trial basis to see if I was able to create fragrances that were a little bit more skin friendly. And here we are today, now celebrating 20 years.
And what a journey it's been for you, right? As a woman, a female entrepreneur, you have thrived, you grow, you are rising, you're doing all the things that are making you the success that you are today. Magazines are celebrating you. You've got a huge fan base, right? Tell us the process. How can somebody engage with the brand of Pink Mahogany?
Because I am a one-woman show, if you will, I do have a business manager. I aim to be very personable. I like to engage with the audience. I'm mainly more active or the most active on Instagram. That is where you can find me chatting with people, commenting on other posts of other fragrance brands. I pride myself on being supportive of other indie artists as well as myself. That is where I can be found most often, as well as on TikTok and Facebook.
What is the scent? What is behind the base of all the different fragrance?
In my collection, particularly, I do notice that I really gravitate towards a soft woodsy base. Sandalwood has been my favorite to use so far. I did not realize there were so many different types of sandalwood, and each sandalwood has its own identity. It can be a very small nuance. Something like one sandalwood may be a little bit more sweet to the nose. Another sandalwood may be more dry or give off a more like a shaved, freshly shaved wood vibe. But sandalwood seems to be the base of a lot of the fragrances in my collection.
And your product, does a little bit go a long way? You know, and is it long lasting?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. All of the fragrances to date in the Pink Mahogany collection are what we call EDP, which stands for Eau de Parfum, which means perfume strength. So you're going to get about 20 to 22% perfume or fragrance, and then the remaining 80% or so alcohol, organic alcohol.
And how do they apply it? How do most people apply your fragrance?
Most people apply it through an atomizer, so it will be in the perfume version, an atomizer spray. I do sometimes have requests of individuals that prefer an oil-based, so they would like for it to be in the oil form. So I do roller balls for them if that is what they are desiring to have.
Okay. The history of your company after 20 years, what is one of the biggest highlights so far for you?
I would have to say the biggest highlight for me is having been approached by international publications. I have been featured online for online magazines and online publications, but to actually be in a physical magazine, starting with the Texas Monthly, which now is no longer in existence, which that was a pretty monumental experience for me. I had written down years prior, before they contacted me, that I wanted to be in Texas Monthly, and that was one of my affirmations. And I would go to the store, go to the magazine store, and look at the Texas Monthly just to see what was in it. So when they contacted me, it was definitely one of the highlights. And now to also be in British GQ magazine, British Vogue, Tatler magazine, and I believe I have one more coming up that I'll be able to share at a later date. But those have been, I think, the main highlights of my career, my 20 years.
Congratulations. Well-deserved props to you. That's wonderful. What is your go-to scent for yourself? Like when you have all this fragrance, right? And all this beautiful scent around you. What do you like to wear? What is your signature scent?
My signature scent is actually a fragrance that I have been wearing since around 2005. And before I knew the perfumer behind the fragrance, I was already captivated by it, just to show you how a brand DNA can really transcend time, 2005 to now, and I'm still wearing it. And it is a French perfume by the brand Hermès. And it has a long title. It's called Un Jardin en Méditerranée, which is like the garden of flowers. My French is not 100%, but that is my staple fragrance, my signature fragrance. I smelled it on someone back in 2005 when I was at the bank, and I followed this individual inside the bank, not stalkingly, of course, but he smelled so good, and I was so afraid to ask him what he was wearing. I went to Saks Fifth Avenue that same night, and the sales attendant, I hope she was not mad at me, but I had her to let me smell everything that had been recently launched until we found it. So that just lets you know how powerful scent can be.
It absolutely can be. When someone engages with your brand, when they go to your website, right? What is their customer experience like? What is it that they're going to be able to see and experience there?
The first thing that they will see is I usually have a pop-up banner that lets them know if there are any sales that are coming up or that are currently running, which we are currently running a sale for our 20th year being in existence. And they will also see information about me, a short biography, because I do like to let people know if they're not familiar with the brand that I am the perfumer behind the brand. We do not outsource. I don't have a team of perfumers. It is myself doing most of the work. And they will also see snippets, if you will, of each fragrance that is in the collection. And they are categorized by gender, though most of the fragrances, we have 18, most of them can be categorized as gender neutral. But we do realize that there are some people who like to know, does this perfume lean more feminine, or does this perfume lean more masculine, or is it kind of down the middle? So we try to be communicative in that regard so that people know what they will be looking at once they read those descriptions.
You know, correspondence nowadays happens a lot via the internet and via email and things of that nature, right? But there was nothing better. Do you remember getting like a nice note card around Valentine's Day that somebody sprayed just a little something special on, right? Maybe we could bring a little bit of romance back this holiday season, you know, and send a letter with just a little bit of fragrance on it. I know I would like to receive something like that. Congratulations to you. I'm so excited to be part of your journey and to celebrate you and all the things that you're looking forward to doing in 2025. What is on your agenda this year? What are your hopes for 2025?
Oh man, it's very, it can be quite extensive, but I try to bite the elephant or eat the elephant in one bite at a time. One of the main goals that I have for this year is that I would like to expand into retailers. I am in a couple of online retailers, but I want to expand into brick and mortar stores, starting with luxury boutiques and eventually graduating to your chain retailers like Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, Saks, Bergdorf Goodman, and retailers that are in that category. One of the other goals that I have is I would like to also partner with boutique hotels and create custom formulations and custom fragrances for these hotels so that it can increase their brand awareness and also to help their customers and their hotel guests if they want to have a nice smell in their room or in the restroom. I just think it helps with the ambiance. So those are the top two things that I'm looking forward to this year.
It's funny that you mentioned that because that's the thing that came to my mind were like luxury boutique hotels. And I was thinking, I was like, wow, I could really see your brand doing really very well there. So Pink Mahogany, thank you very much, Chevalier, for coming on. It was a delight and an honor to have you on our show. And I wish you continued success in your journey.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is Donna Drake. Happy journeys.
Take my hand, come with me, and we'll find better ways to be something much more. Live it up, live it up, live it up now. Live it up now.
Thanks for watching Live It Up. You can visit us at liveituptvshow.com.